welcome to my review of WRC 10. This review does come quite a while after the release of WRC 10, however I wanted to give it a fair chance, and as I've been juggling quite a bit in my work and home life, it's been difficult to get as much time with it as I wanted. So my apologies it's late, and let's see what it has to offer with the full season package joined by a whole host of historic events and challenges. So I'm going to start off with the driving simulation side of things, which I'm going to rank as a 9. The main reason being the handling model for WRC 10 does build on the great work set in the past few titles, and for me still remains the benchmark for modern rally titles regardless of platform. It's again got an even greater feeling of weight to the vehicles, and as a result momentum feels more dynamic. Force feedback has once again been improved with a more detailed feel. Again, not leaps and bounds above last year's entry, but a slow and steady improvement each year. However, I do once again have to temper that with the poor out of the box settings for the force feedback and the unchanged and still very messy UI for changing settings and button configurations. Honestly, KT do themselves no favours in this regard, as out of the box with a T300 this score would be closer to a 6, it's that bad. It really shouldn't need as much messing around as it does to get a good baseline in place for your wheel. And that this year is further compounded by the fact that it didn't support my Arduino handbrake on PC out of the box. I had to wait for numerous patches before that one was fixed, which is just, yeah, it's not on at all. Moving on to racing simulation, and I'm giving this a 7, which is exactly the same as last year's score. The main reason being it feels very much the same as it did last year. The pace is quite variable across different surfaces, so as a result it never feels as well balanced as it could be. And it just feels like it's an area that KT are happy to leave things as they've been for a number of years. One odd point, however, is that the AI settings have no effect at all on the pace of the historic events. So you're stuck with the pace of the historic events no matter what. And they did lower the AI speed for the historic events via a patch. Seems odd to me. They could have just tied it into whatever AI setting you've chosen, which would make far more sense. Looking then at the motorsport simulation side of things, I've given this a 9. So the career mode from WRC 8 and 9 is by and large carried across intact for WRC 10, and on the whole that's no bad thing, as it carries on the excellent stage design, challenging stage lengths, and the well developed and rounded career mode that's, let's be honest, on a par with the likes of Codemasters F1 titles. It does have a few foibles, but you know, it's not perfect, but it is damn good. We do also now have 2 new features for this year, ones that most reviewers seem to have ignored, which is odd because they really do add to the career mode. The first is tyre strategy, which as a fundamental of the real sport has been missing from rally titles for too long. It's not a perfect implementation, as you are forced to pick your tyre mix before you can see the stage details and lengths. Not seeing the weather, I can understand, give us a partial forecast and then make picking it a risk in regard of what tyre choice would be ideal, but to not be able to know the stages and lengths doesn't make any sense, and it should be fixed. That's not, however, to take away from what is a great addition to the career mode. The other is that full-length rallies can now be run with shakedowns and 14 stage plus durations available, which adds massively to the depth and challenge when combined with the tyre strategy. Getting the right tyre choice before each stage, cross-matching your tyres, etc. really does add to the career. So why have I scored this area the same as last year's title? And that's a very valid question, and that's simply because of the mess that KT have made of including the historic events into the title. While the 50th anniversary mode and events really are great, only some of them can be accessed via that mode to start off with. The rest then only become available when you unlock them in full career mode. So if you opt for the season mode, you're screwed, as that doesn't actually unlock them. There's no way in the season mode of unlocking them, which is just daft. And also, even if you do unlock them in the career mode, It sometimes screws up, and from time to time a number of historic events that I've completed in Korea have not then opened up in the 50th anniversary mode. On top of that, to be able to run your own team in career mode, you have to finish all of the 50th anniversary events, which quite frankly is an absurd barrier to put in place, particularly as it then renders what is a basic but solid livery editor pretty much pointless. And it's partly for this reason that our next category, accessibility, I've scored at a 6. And this is because overall it has taken a step backwards. And that's mainly because of the mess that's been made of the 50th anniversary mode and the My Team mode. Both of which, let's be honest, they were the marketing stars of the package. They were what was shouted front and centre by the marketing team. Yet they've been locked behind utterly absurd, nonsensical design choices. What should have been the WRC series' most accessible title has in fact become one of the most confusing in terms of progression and completion. Which moves on to content, which gets a solid 9, because despite the absurd design choices made to WRC 10 structure, what can't be denied is the level of content on offer. With licensed series, you kind of expect the current crop of cars and stages and locations to be the offering, and that'd be pretty much it. But with the 50th anniversary content running beyond cars, but also including both unique locations and bespoke versions of stages we've got in current events, is a massive amount of content, which causes me to score the value really highly at 9 as well, because not only is the out-of-the-box content sizable, but the upcoming DLC schedule is very complete. Lots of cars, new historic events, new historic cars, new stages, etc., all of which is free. And the one thing that can't really be argued is that as a standalone product, WRC 10 offers great value for money. However, there is a caveat there. It's not really a standalone product, it's a continuation of an ongoing series. And as such, the question then becomes for you as a buyer, if the 50th anniversary content and career tweaks are enough to separate it from WRC 9. Now, for me, as a die-hard rally fan, that's an easy question to answer. It does. But for other people, it's a more difficult call to make. If you've already got WRC 9, does it offer enough above that to justify buying it at full price? Possibly not. Really, it's a call that you're going to have to make yourselves. Look at what content is available, look at what's coming, look beyond what's just hit the headlines. If that tyre strategy and the longer events with more stages in them appeals, that's something that hasn't been shouted about a lot. Things to consider. But there we go, that's my full review of WRC 10. Hopefully you found it useful. If you have, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, please do like and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thanks very much, take care, bye.